Onlyfans, the revenue from Western debauchery. Today we discuss.
Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
So, in case you have living under a rock on the past few years, let's talk about OnlyFans and what it is. OnlyFans is a service, an online service for content creators that allows sex workers all over the world to sell digitally their sex services via, of course, content creation, video, audio, lives, pictures, and so on and so on. So basically, it's a very efficient way, I have to say this, as businessmen, as it's a very efficient service regarding, of course, the services of the oldest profession. So this platform has taken off on the past few years, especially during 2020, during COVID, because allow sex workers in order to profit from their services online, because at the moment with the restrictions and the mobility, people just stay at home. They consume a lot of things online that allow sex workers all over the world in order to sell their services. And even some of these workers have amassed great fortunes doing so because, of course, it is what it is right now. So today we are discussing the causes and consequences and the profits of OnlyFans all over the world and how they are harming the worldwide sphere. OnlyFans was founded on 2016 by Tim Stockley, and then on 2018 he sold 75% of the stake on the company to Phoenix International, that is held by Leonid Rabinsky. By late 2022, OnlyFans has 3.1 million content creators dedicated to sex work. That's a 40% increase compared to 2021 and has a base of 239 million users, aka Sims, using this platform and consuming this platform. That represents a 20% increase compared to 2021. The year 2022, OnlyFans had a gross revenue of $5.6 billion US dollars, billion with a B. That's an increase of around 20% of 4.8 billion on 2021. That represents a 525 million of pre-tax profit, 17% increase of 2021, and for the owner of the company, the Ukrainian Radpinsky, that means a dividend, just a dividend of $338 million on 2022. And of course, the business model is simple, is smart, is practical, and these men, both Stockley and Rabinsky, deserves everything they got, because they profit for something very simple. There is a lot of unscrupulated females, well, some men as well, that does sex work because it's the only skill that they have in life, and they are being profitable on that. So some of them are actually marketing geniuses. And by the other hand, you have a lot, millions and millions, and according to OnlyFans, 238 million individuals that are Sims. There's no way to say. Weak men that have nothing to offer, just tips in order to get some attention. Now, something I have to say, the OnlyFans is not the problem, it's the symptom of major problems. On the past decade, we've seen a detachment between societies and individuals, especially on Western nations. And of course, this is mostly due to woke culture, progressive culture, and that creates some horrendous incentives in order to profit from this debauchery, mostly by women with low morals and low skills, and that creates that perfect equation in order to create a sex work. On the other hand, you have, of course, men, lonely men, could be young men, usually on the West, when they are educated with video games and just content consuming digitally and they don't mingle and hang out with people of their age physically like we used to do. And they have very low social skills, they have very low personal skills, and they end up consuming and being, of course, clients of the sex work schemes. Now, OnlyFans is the symptom that Western culture is at its lowest level in many, many decades, and there's no way in around it. Now, this is gonna get worse? Yes, it always can get worse. Remember Murphy's Law. What is going on is still demand for these services that usually were the services were taken care of. You know, the sex work is the oldest profession by a reason. But usually they were outliers on society, the people who provide these services. And on a certain degree, they still are. However, what is going on is that, of course, it's profitable at the moment to be, on this industry. And what will end up happening is, simple economics, supply and demand. There's a lot of demand for this kind of services. However, there is demand for solutions and alternatives. We're even seeing the rise of AI-generated sex worker influencers, robots that simulate the intimacy between a man and a woman. So basically, sex dolls, sex robots. That's it. But also other forms of, exhaust this demand. And I mean, technology, with the rise of technology, AI, robotics, artificial intelligence, well, that's AI, of course. And that's creating a lot of phenomena. First, the reduction of marriage rates, also the increase on divorces, also the reduction of fertility rates, also this phenomenon, what we call passport bros, that are men that are not as successful dating on their home countries and moving abroad to more traditional countries. But sadly, the end result is that you destroy societies, especially Western societies, and what ends up happening is you destroy the most valuable that those societies have. For instance, the United States. I remember when I was a kid and I think about the United States and you think, the beautiful family with the house of the suburbs, and they have these very great standards of living. Usually the husband, the man, had a good job. The wife had a very good household life, and they take care of the children, and so on and so on. So each gender had a specific role. Now, we've seen a blur on this particular issue because women are working. And by the way, I love that women have the opportunity to work and also contribute to society. It's not like you have to be draconian about it. Everyone can make their own decisions. However, you are destroying what is on the long term should be your goal. Because usually females want to, have a home, have a family. I mean, in order to be satisfied, in order to achieve the Maslow pyramid necessities, you need a sense of community. It's not just about money or monetary satisfaction and material benefits. You need also people. You need people around. You need good friends. You need good family members. In most cases, people really want to have children and see raising these children, and after that having grandchildren, and so on and so on and so on. So life is more than just materialistic things. Now, circling back to OnlyFans, this is profitable, is sustainable on the long term, and the answer I think is no. And here's why. Because right now, of course, shout out to the OnlyFans creators and owners and operators because they're doing business sense. They have done an excellent job. So tip my hat to them. The thing about this is that it's not sustainable on the long term. There is a fluke on society right now with technology and also with the deterioration of Western society and, of course, supply and demand that created that it was a perfect storm, a black swan event that you have in order to take that opportunity, and they certainly have taken the opportunity. However, this is not sustainable on the long term. The societies are going to go one way to the other, or either we are going to become more conservative, and there is a pushback from conservatives and young people actually that are becoming conservative, so good for them. Do what you have to do. Now, what will end up happening is the technology worldwide is going to increase a lot, so it's going to make cheaper the satisfaction of these transactions, and we're gonna go to something else like an AI girlfriend, like on Blade Runner, and sex robots, or just people who's gonna have it, and the demand is gonna decrease. Also, something that we're seeing right now is the decrease on males' testosterone amongst young population. So when you have less testosterone, you have less sexual desires, so you're less willing in order to consume these paid services. OnlyFans, maybe in the next decade or the next 5 years, can still be profitable. I certainly think so. But after that, it's not like this big multinational that's going to take all over the world. Like, for instance, Google, that's, of course, the owners of the platform that I'm using right now, or Facebook, or the FANG stocks, and Tesla, and McDonald's, and all that kind of stuff. So unless, of course, they adapt and they create themselves the artificial intelligence in order to satisfy the need for a more economical price. Now, legally, OnlyFans should be banned all over the world. Well, I'm a libertarian, and my answer is no. Everyone should have the possibility in order to decide for themselves. However, the trend, most governments around the world, I would say any government in the world is libertarian. For instance, in Russia, was already banned, and even Vladimir Putin gave a speech, a communication about it. He banned Pornhub as well, I believe. And also many, most conservative societies all over the world, some countries, also ban it as well. So I'm going to put the list in the picture. And what will end up happening is you have a bipolar world. Just like in geopolitics, I discussed this bipolar world where you have the West, the G7 nations, and the East with the BRICS group, and they're going to trade on their own world, and sometimes they're going to trade among each other. So I'm seeing this trend of a bipolar cultural world. You're going to have the extreme woke, left-leaning, progressive, debauchery people, and also the extreme conservative crowd, and everyone is going to live on their own bubble and do their own things, especially with online. The people are not mingling together physically as much. So that's something I'm seeing. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm no Nostradamus, but something I see the possibility, really. So we're going to be separated by their own bias. So extremely woke, debauchery people and extremely conservative people. That, by the way, I'm not an extremist regarding conservative. I'm not extremely conservative. I'm more of a conservative than I am, a liberal. But because I like, some aspects of both things. You should have the right to decide, but at the same time, you should have the consequences of your decisions. And the good thing about conservatism right now, and, I'm pushing more of a conservatism crowd at the moment, is that the sense of community is something that should not be negotiated. You need to have close ties and close relationship with people, with your family, with your friends. You need friends, believe me. You need, of course, something special, someone special. It is what it is. Or you need a handful of some of some special people. But the main point, you have to have friends. You have to have allies. You need people. The book, 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, one of the laws says that isolation is dangerous because it provokes more risk that they prevent. So we are provoking a lot of risk. We are creating a lot of troubles that cannot very badly. I'm talking on the worldwide scale, especially on these countries that debauchery is destroying the society itself.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, VenezuelaInsider.com. Thanks again, and have a nice day.